Okay, so we're going to start with a rear foot elevated single leg RDL. This is a regression exercise, but also very difficult for most people. This is great for stabilizing the pelvis and working on hinging. So we're going to have our back foot elevated, slight bend in our standing leg. You're just going to reach forward with that dumbbell, hinging our hips back and standing straight up at the top, making sure that your hips are completely squared off. So hinging forward, keeping that head up, chest up, and standing straight up. Next is a cable tricep pull down. So you'll start with your feet hip width apart, keeping your head up, chest up. You're going to keep a slight bend in your knees. You're going to pull the cable down starting at 90 degrees and then extend your elbows all the way. Squeeze and then coming back up to 90 degrees. Making sure that you're keeping your core tight, no movement in your upper body. This next one is a great regression for overhead pressing. So you'll start in a kneeling position. You're going to have one hand against the wall, and then you're going to have a dumbbell starting at your shoulder, and then you're just going to be pressing straight overhead. This is great for stabilizing your core, making sure there's no movement, and really isolating that shoulder. Coming straight up and then lowering back down to that shoulder, keeping your core tight, rib cage closed. Next is a barbell hip extension. So you'll start lying on the ground and lay the barbell right across your hips. You're going to bend your knees and keep your feet about hip width apart. You're going to bridge your hips up, squeeze at the top, squeeze your glutes, and then control lowering down to the floor. Squeezing up and lowering back down, making sure that there's no valgus collapse in your knees, keeping everything stable. Next is a split stance squat. You're going to have your feet apart, making sure that your toes are facing forward, holding a dumbbell in each arm, making sure that your head is up, chest is up. You're going to squat down, tapping that back knee on the ground and making sure that your front knee is in the same plane as your toes, making sure you're not leaning forward or leaning back. Squeeze at the top. Next is a depth jump to a box jump. So this is a really great plyometric exercise, especially for landing technique. This is a very advanced one. So you're going to start by dropping down, soft landing, and then jumping straight up onto the next box. Make sure in your landing that you're not letting your knees collapse in and your heels are on the ground. And when you jump up to the next box, that you keep your head up, chest up. Soft landing. Next, we have barbell chest press. This is really good for upper body strength and power. So you're going to start by lying on a bench face up, maintaining 5-point contact with your head, shoulders, hips, and feet on the ground. You're going to grab onto the barbell about shoulder width apart or a little bit wider with your hands. You're going to unrack the bar, pushing up straight over your chest. You're going to lower the bar right down to your sternum and then pushing explosively up right over your sternum in the same plane. Coming down, pushing straight up. Next we have inverted row. This is really good for keeping your shoulders back and really squeezing in between your shoulder blades, getting your rhomboids. So you're going to start with a supinated grip onto the bar. You're going to come right under the bar, keeping your knees bent and feet are on the ground. You're going to bridge your hips up, squeezing your glutes. You're going to start by extending your arms and then pulling yourself up all the way to the bar, squeezing at the top and slowly lowering down. This next exercise is a dead bug variation. Really good core exercise working in anti-extension. So you're going to start on a bench, lying face up, knees are bent at 90 degrees. You're going to be holding a kettlebell right over your chest, and then we're going to be extending overhead in this exercise, breathing as we're doing this. So we're going to start in position 1, inhale, and exhale, squeeze, hold. Next position, right overhead, inhale and exhale, maintaining a neutral spine, inhale and exhale, and then next one all the way extended back, inhale and exhale, and then right back to the starting position. Lastly, we have the pigeon stretch. This is really good for stretching your piriformis and your hip flexors at the same time. So you're going to start by bending your front leg at 90 degrees and then extending your back leg behind you. You're going to try and square off your hips, and then to get deeper into that stretch, you can bend forward and really stretch that piriformis and making sure that your back leg is straight, keeping that knee straight. And you're just going to hold for about 30 seconds.